The third mechanism that language requires is sequence. Syntactically, language is entirely linear. One thing happens to another thing. Someone does something to someone, and that someone gets happy or sad. So, baked into the very structure of every sentence we ever speak is a linear version of both time and causality. To get a better understanding of this, think in terms of how a simple sentence works filmatically, how it reveals the truth it purports to communicate. When we say Bob throws the ball to his dog Spot, first there's Bob, and then the camera pulls back slightly to show the ball flying through the air. And then we have Spot leaping to catch the ball. By the time Spot catches the ball, the moment of Bob throwing has receded grammatically into the past. Whether you are reading that sentence or thinking about the event, the vocalized or subvocalized syllable Bob is long gone by the time Spot catches the ball. Mentally, you are looking at Spot catching the ball. Your eye is no longer on Bob. So language functions like a spotlight, like a flashlight in a darkened room. It focuses first on one thing, then the next. It presents the world to us sequentially, one thing after another, and it proposes that the small partial truths that its flashlight is sequentially illuminating are giving us the world. The problem is this: the world doesn't happen this way, one thing after another. The world happens all at once, all around us, all the time. No sentence we construct can ever capture this, because the syntax of language functions in the exact opposite way. It isolates both subjects and objects from their environments, and then proposes sequential events or relationships that link these subjects and objects together. When you say, Bob threw the ball to Spot, you are leaving out the feeling of the morning, school starting again after summer in just 5 days, the smell of cut grass, new sneakers, and everything else that makes up this moment of Bob. When you say that Spot catches the ball, you leave out all of Spot's belly rubs, his eyebrows, his flea collar, his naps, the old sock he drags with him everywhere, and the joy he is feeling right now at being off the leash. You leave out absolutely everything that makes up this moment of Spot. Of course, you could write a book about this moment and try to assemble as much of this as possible, but you would never escape this fundamental problem. Language proposes that the world occurs in isolated, fractional, sequential truths. And the world doesn't occur this way. It happens all at once, everywhere, all the time. Wet grass, new sneakers, school start just 5 days away. This is the real structure of world. But since every moment of how we experience the world is filtered through the linguistic structure of our mental thoughts, the world doesn't feel this way for us. We experience it as a place of isolated objects that are involved in sequential actions. We experience it as an endless, small-scale linear unfolding. He said, she said, and they, and so I, which means. So, surprise, surprise, the world feels to us like the structure of our language. Isolated Bob throws the ball to clearly defined Spot, and clearly defined Spot catches the ball, and we think that this is how the world is. Our language cannot give us a simultaneity of new sneakers and early morning and school start in 5 days and my dog that is this moment of Bob. So that's not the world we get. The world is happening all at once, everywhere, all the time. But we get the small, sequential world that our language is giving us, and we think it's the world itself.